What's up, guys? I wanted to take a few minutes today to talk with you all about something that I think is growing in importance in the time that we are living in. And what I wanted to talk about is why you need to be supporting content creators on alternative platforms. We all know about the big platforms that are out there, whether it is YouTube or whether it is Facebook or Instagram or whatever. But there are a lot of alternatives out there to these big tech platforms. And the reason that I wanted to talk about it is because this morning I got up, just like I always do, and decided to check into my YouTube analytics just to see how things were going with the channel and things like that. Most of you guys know, who have been followers of my channel for a long time, you know, this is not a big channel. This is something that I started years ago as a way to kind of teach a little bit about firearms, to do it in a very controlled way, to give people a resource they could go, you know, and learn about firearms, people that were new to firearms, things like that. And since that time, there have been many times over where many videos on my channel have either been hit by YouTube for demonetization. My channel, for a brief period of time, I even had a channel strike. Now, this morning I got up, and of course, again, I have had another hit and had a video removed because of YouTube changing the way, every other day, the way that they view things. Now, this video is one that I did back a few years ago, and it has been online on my channel and even been manually reviewed by YouTube in the past, and was, you know, fine up until apparently this morning. It has had tens of thousands of views, but now it has no views because it's no longer there. And it is because of their changing community guidelines. They're changing community standards. You know, what is fine one day is not the next. The video is still on my channel on other sites such as Rumble. That is an alternative to YouTube, where I have replicated most of my videos, and I even have videos over there that do not exist on YouTube, that I have done specifically for Rumble, just because of the way that YouTube is doing things. And this is why it is important that we look at some of these alternative platforms. This is just one video. I am a very small channel. But because of YouTube and the way they do things, they really contract and restrict certain content, particularly from firearms channels, as well as any other political channels that they disagree with. This is something that I can see in my analytics, and I'm sure that most of you other guys out there who are content creators can do the same. You know, if you go back before what they called the Adpocalypse that happened years ago, the analytics of most people, the channels for most people, I mean, it was completely different. I mean, you could see you were getting shares, you were getting viewerships and things like that. But now, ever since then, with the way that they do the guidelines, with everything since 2016, as most of you all know what happened then, it has completely changed. Viewership is way down, shares way down, and it is all because of the way that these huge platforms are basically shadow banning content they do not like. Now, I know that many of you guys have heard about that before, and it is an unfortunate reality of big tech social media. And that's why it's important that we go and support other sites. Now, one of the things about these other sites, these alternative sites like Rumble and things like that, it is very difficult to get a lot of viewership over there simply because there's not a lot of people using those platforms compared to YouTube. You know, I see it in my analytics over there. You know, I'm kind of a data geek. Yeah, I'm a gun guy. I love guns, firearms, and you guys know that have been followers of my channel. But at the same time, I like to see what works and what does not work. And that includes how things work with videos. And there are clear differences between the amount of traffic between major platforms like YouTube compared to alternative platforms. And the reason for that, most people are here. That's simply what it is. You know, most people are on the big tech platforms. But at the same time, guys, the only way that things are ever going to change on these big tech platforms is if people start going over to the alternative platforms. There's a lot of content on those alternative platforms that get ignored, that are blocked here on YouTube, even political views, things like that. I don't really do a lot of training videos anymore on this channel because of how they are. In fact, the last time that I tried to do any kind of a training video, immediately hit, I mean, it just that quick. So I try to, basically what I'm doing is putting a lot of those things over on alternative platforms. My cleaning videos, I've done videos just on cleaning firearms, and they have pretty much, a lot of them have been hit. In fact, this morning, because of it, just as a way to try to help protect this channel, because who knows what's going to happen, I went in and actually turned off or just unpublished some of the videos that I have done, in many cases, years ago, just because of things that YouTube is doing now, just because of how things seem to be going with the platform, and just to basically see if I can protect this channel. I'm not going anywhere, or do not intend to go anywhere, but at the same time, there's going to be a lot of content that I put up over in alternative sites if you guys want to check that out. And I always put the links to my other social media down in the description. And it's not just me, guys. There's a lot of content creators out there that are facing the exact same problem. It's a disgrace. It is only going to get worse. I used to get emails from Google all the time about my website, boomsticktactical.com. Go over and check it out. And they would deliberately and unapologetically tell me that they were restricting my website in search results due to its content, which is, of course, firearms. That's just how they do things. They just do not like anything firearm related. I've even had a couple of the political articles that I had written that they didn't like either, and literally labeled some of them fake news until a week or so that would go by, and then they would change the rating of that because, again, it had made it out to mainstream media, and it was out there enough to where it was clear that the article that I wrote was legitimate. That's just how things are, but what can you do? Guys, the whole purpose of this video is to encourage you to go over to check out some of these alternative platforms and to recognize this growing problem. If you think you're hearing the full story on a lot of political things, you're not. And I'm not talking these conspiracy theories and stuff like that. It's the fact that content they do not like, they restrict. They do not let it get out there. They do not let it be distributed the way that it should. There is even video of these folks literally saying that. I mean, that's just how things are. But guys, check out the rest of the videos on my channel, at least the ones that remain. Check out the rest of those videos over on alternative platforms if you want to see them. Linked down below. Check out all the rest of the links down below. Thanks for watching. Let me hear from you guys, and we'll see you next time, hopefully.